Hello, my dear listeners. So in this video today, I will continue share my ideas about how we can save Canada, and I will do this by looking into the ways how we can stop taking the money from the productive economy and send it to the government. And I will look into this some key numbers and statistics about Canadian budget and spending. But first, let's listen what is the Pierre Poilievre has to say about the ongoing crisis.
Of the last 60 days of liberal chaos and the threats that weakness has invited from incoming President Trump, let's just talk about everything that was out of control before that. Housing costs, out of control, doubled after 9 years of NDP Liberals, rising faster than in any other country in the G7. Food costs, out of control after the NDP Liberal carbon tax caused grocery prices to rise 37% faster in Canada than in the United States, driving 2 million people to food banks. A quarter of our kids, according to federal data, are going to school hungry, and a quarter of our families are living in poverty. The worst inflation in 40 years, after out-of-control liberal deficits and money printing increased our money supply by $700 billion, or 40%, that is to say 10 times faster than the growth in the output of our economy. Spending out of control. The deficit hit $62 billion. Remember, we were all supposed to accept the excuse that COVID caused the deficit, but as we get further and further away from COVID, the deficit actually gets bigger and bigger. The deficit 50% bigger.
Okay, so you see it like the deficits are getting bigger and bigger, the resources are poor. It doesn't mean like the government spending more money, it produces results. So the first thing I have here, it's a percentage of the government revenue, the different taxes that the government collects. And I want to spend some time on this graph and think, okay, the first one is the taxes on personal income, profit and gains. I think we to start we could eliminate that completely. Okay, and same goes to corporation. How is this possible? Because this money, okay, if the people keep it, and the businesses and corporations and productive workers are going to keep their wages, and they're going to spend it instead of the government. They're probably going to do some investments for sure. If you were talking about the business owners, they're going to do some investments and grow their business. That's what if we're talking about capital gains on investment, the investment will continue to reinvest their money and grow the productive economy. And the next one, social security contribution, 14% in Canada. So this one, if you want to be honest about, you go and you say, if you are between 18 and 50, you're not going to get nothing from it anyway. It's going to be even destroyed by inflation, even bankrupt before you can benefit from it. And after you said that, you cannot continue to actually take the money from those people. Kept taxes on property value, added taxes and GSTs. Okay, so those, okay, this will be kept, and that's how the government is going to be financed. But you're going to say, Alexis, if you cut, okay, so this part is here 64%. How you going to be able to continue to fund the government on what's left is 36%? Well, then we will have to redirect the priority and say, okay, wherever it's not the priority, we're just going to get rid completely, like in Argentina. That's inevitable. I think in all Western countries we'll have to go to that. The total government spending 2023 $1,084 billion, 10% increase, dramatic pace of increase of the government spending. Now you have real numbers here. So 52.3 billion of deficit. So it was a deficit, and up for 43.1 billion from the previous year. So the deficits are exploding. Now let's look at how is the real economy doing. So it's a total manufacturing sales, okay, not the profit, not the tax, because the profit from this 672 billion, it's very thin number. And what the number is very alarming. It's a 1.5% increase from the previous year. So if you adjust this number for inflation, the real inflation, not the government stated inflation, so I would be like conservatively saying 10%. So we have a alarming contraction of the manufacturing of 8.5% in real term. This has to be kept. So the government historically been responsible of the law enforcement. It's like, you know, cannot be privatized. Okay, so how we can we have to keep it, but okay, those monies spend it, we will have to do efficiency exercise on it. See how much maybe we can speed up the double number of judgments for the same amount of money. Services, the corrections services, the interesting thing here, first of all, 9.17% increase in 2022. So this is represent the real rate of inflation. One, cost to maintain offenders in Correctional Services Centre Institutions average 116,000, while the cost of maintaining individual in the community is 31,000. So, you know, maybe this statistics is a part of the solution, because if you see, like, let's say somebody committing economic crime like stealing, I think it's become unbearable and should be penalized. But you just confiscate wherever this person has to repay the victims. It's a problem. We have to punish some people, but we have to be rational about it and get the results and get them to get the results and not spend lots of money on it. And of course, you know, the justice, why I pulled this one, because we have a lot of services, provincial and federal, so they have to go in tandem with the federal government. The provincial, municipal and federal will have to do the same. You know, they will have to eliminate everything that is not necessary. We're going to just keep wherever is the priorities, the priority 1, 2, 3. The 1 we cover 100%, 2 we cover 2%, 3 maybe we'll be only cover 80% of what it needs. 4 we maybe will be able to cover only 70%, and so on. So we will have to basically go like this. And this one also very important for all of us. It's a universal health care, and this is the federal transfers from the government to provincial to maintain the health care. So it's very interesting here that, you know, as the Canada Health Transfers Escalator is based on GDP growth, an additional 142 billion is projected to provide over the next 10 years through the Canada Health Transfer, over and above the 45.2 billion provided in 2022-2023. So this tenth of this 14 billion, and it's on top of the 45 billion, and there is a top of transfer of 2 billion and another one 6.5 billion, and there is another 17 billion, and then it's another 25 billion. So it goes on. So what I wanted to say about this, if I don't think we could keep the healthcare in this situation free for all, but it could be it has to stop to be like a point of milking the government insurance, health insurance regimes, because the health care, there is thousands of doctors that are here that came from different countries, and they are good doctors that could be immediately allowed to practice and eliminate the penury, and they don't have to be paid like a 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 per year. And the nurses, they cannot have to be paid, $200,000, $100,000 per year, and so on. We should stop by licensing, not allowing the things like, I give you an example. There is an oxygen camera that is available like in Toronto, but I wanted to buy one, and my friend who is a doctor is practicing he said nobody will allow to license this to you. It's doctors are prescribing drugs, and everybody gets just sicker and sicker, and this has to stop. We have to concentrate on the cure, the most efficient, and we have to decrease the cost. The cost could be decreased in many cases. We have to look for alternatives. So this one we can get a lot of efficiency. So this is a little bit for this video. I will continue to do this. Please like it and